What up YouTube land, Tyconder's there doing another action figure review, and this is for something I picked up recently. Now, I generally don't do too many Transformer reviews, because there's a lot of other YouTubers out there that do far better jobs than I do of Transformers reviews, like Vault Matrix and Collector 75 and Piog. But this is my review for Power the Primes Slug, because basically I'm a huge fan of the Dinobots. I've always loved the Dinobots. I mean, they're dinosaur Transformers. Who wouldn't love Dinobots? So I managed to pick this guy up in my local toy shop, and they only had the first wave in. So they had Grimlock, who's a Voyager class, which is the main leader of the Dinobots, which I couldn't afford. Could only afford one figure, so I picked up this guy, which is Slug, or as he was known back in the old G1's time, he was known as Slag, but because of legal reasons and PC quality or PC control, they have to change the name because Slag is a derogatory, well, it's an insult basically, so they renamed him to Slug. So he comes in robot form, as he is in front of you there. He comes in robot form in packaging. He comes with this Power the Primes accessory, which is supposedly prime armor, so it has a clear section that you can take out and put one of the Power the Primes kind of small micro robots in it. Similar idea to the Headmasters. In fact, they're done to the same style as the Headmasters, and the way it works is it just clicks into his chest there as a kind of chest armor piece. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of it being a chest armor piece. He does have the 5mm pegs on the side of his arms, so I like to click it on there as sort of a shield for him. Or what you can do is, if you fold his hand away, you can still fit this into his hand, because basically this piece doubles as his combiner mode hand, because he's actually the new Dinobots are all part of a combiner, so you can actually click this around and give him sort of a giant power punch kind of fist if you want to do that, which kind of looks cool. And you can even, it's articulated, so you can even have him outstretch his hand as well, so you can actually have him wielding the Power the Primes piece as a sort of a power punch. So before I get on to the figure, I'll just say he does come with a collector card, and he has one of the Primes Slug battle. It charges into battle with a blinding white light as his ability. Each collector card has a different Power the Primes kind of Prime Master. This is, and I think they're even different within the characters as well. So if you were to get a second Slug, you might have a different one on the card. And then he comes with the instruction sheet, which I didn't actually even bother opening for when I got him out of packaging. I actually was able to transform him pretty easily enough without the transformation or the instruction sheet. He's easy enough. So, and he comes in this winter style packaging with an image of Slug, which is the same image that's on the card art, which is a really cool image of him. And then if I flip him around, it just says, "How will the hot-headed Dinobot warrior wield the power of the Primes?" And that's the only kind of information you got. You have an image of him in different modes, and you can wield his fist in the Dinobot, in the dinosaur mode, and as it's shown in the robot mode. And that just shows some of the other Microns or the Prime Masters. So you got Micronus, Vector Prime, and Liege Maximo. So that's it for the box itself. So onto the figure. So as I said, when you get the figure, he's in robot mode. He's quite articulated. The only kind of downside of his articulation is his head, because it's set into the dinosaur head, so you get left and right, but you have to kind of push it to get it. but it looks really good. He does have he's a little back heavy. In fact, if I turn him around the back, you can see how big the back of him is. He is a little back heavy. But for transforming into dinosaur mode, it's quite simple. You just flip up this piece, which is his mouth. You take his hands, you just flip them into where the wrists are. Maneuver them so they're in this kind of stance. Then you have to unhook these. They clip in just here. So this is his tail. You have to unhook that, and you have to fold this piece up. This gives him kind of a heel spur. You fold this up, fold out this to the side. It's on a hinge, and then you rotate it all the way around, and you do the same on the other side. So just unhook the tail, fold it out to the side, fold in that kind of heel spur piece. Now it is attached onto the same hinge as the leg, so when you're moving that, it will move with it, so just be wary of that. You can plug the two sides together, and then there's a little indentation up here where it plugs into. Oop. Get them all plugged in, and just fold up the tail and plug it into a spot on the back. Oop. And just position his Triceratops horns. So there he is in dinosaur mode. He's quite a little squat dinosaur. In fact, I'm not sure if you can see that there, but he is quite a little squat dinosaur. You can put the gun up here if you want, or on the side as it's shown on the packaging, and as it's shown on the packaging, you can put his Power to Prime piece up here as well, on top. Now, I know I have seen other people do this mod for him to give him a bit more neck space. Bear with me a moment, I'll show it to you in a second. So basically what it is, because he's a combiner, when you're putting him into getting the combiner port out, you have to flip up his head. But I have seen people use this as an extra joint, so if you just unclip it, it clips in very tightly, so that's why I did it off camera, but you can unclip it and then just move it up slightly. It kind of gives him a little bit more headroom. The head is non-articulated in dinosaur mode, so it doesn't actually do anything, but if you do that, it kind of gives his head a little bit more wiggle room, so to speak. But he does look really, really cool. And then just for a size comparison, here is my old G1 Dinobot. Let me just adjust the camera there a second. There we go. Now, he is a good bit smaller than the original G1 Dinobots. A lot of the Dinobots for this wave, or this line, the Power to Primes line, are in deluxe style, whereas I think the old Dinobots were kind of more, would have been technically Voyager class. They were more a larger dinosaur themselves. Unfortunately, this guy has seen a lot of battle. His chrome has nearly faded to black, and his red is all kind of really, really battered. His fist is really loose, as you can see, but he does have a similar transformation. You can see the head is embedded in the actual dinosaur head, and you can split the legs, and basically he looks exactly the same as the other one. But just for another size comparison, I have one of the Titans Returns figures. It's in fact one of my favorite Titans Returns figure, which is a repaint. Here's Quake. He's a repaint of, is it Hardhead? I think it is one of the original G1 style. One of the original G1 headmasters. I think it's Hardhead, or it could be not Crankcase, but it's definitely one of the G1 ones. His original G1 self was a target master, which meant they had, instead of having a headmaster mode, they had a, what you call it, they had like a gun that would become a small little robot. So they were like sentient little robot guns. But bear with me a moment, I'm just getting this Slug into his robot mode again while on cameras. Well, doing it off camera but while talking. But there he is, standing alongside one of the deluxe class Titans Returns. He's a small bit, if you're going just by the head size, he's a tiny bit smaller, but if you're going by the very tip of the dinosaur, he's about the same size, so there's not too much of a difference in them. And as I was saying, this guy's a headmaster, or Titan Master as they're known now. So his head becomes a little robot, but because they're designed the same way as the Prime Masters, you can actually put them into, yeah, line it up a little better. You can actually put them into the Power of the Primes armor piece, and you can have Slug here walking around with the head of Quake in his chest if you want, for no reason whatsoever. He could have just ripped his head off and just used it as a trophy. But there you go. He's a really cool Dinobot. I might do a video review of all the Dinobots as I get them, or if I get the rest of them. I'm hoping to try and pick up the others. As I said, I don't generally do Transformer figure reviews, so I could have missed something in transformation, or could have. I know he does have a limb mode actually, so he turns into an arm or a leg. And what I will do is, I won't do it now, I'll do it when I get Grimlock, because Grimlock's the main body of the combiner, so when I get him all together, I'll transform all the guys, all the basic limbs into their limb configuration and show them off there. But as he stands, he's a really cool Transformer. I do recommend picking them up if you can get them. I know they're just sitting shelves now at the moment, but I think I have a sneaky suspicion we'll get screwed over here with Wave 2. We'll only end up with Wave 1, which comes with 2 Dinobots, which are Slug, and I think Swoop is the other Dinobot, or it's Snarl is the other Dinobot in Wave 1. Then the last 2 are in the next wave, which are part of the Terracon wave, which has, I think it's 2 Terracons and 2 Dinobots. And we will probably get screwed over in that, because for some reason over here in Ireland they tend to cancel second waves of figures due to poor sales of the first figures, or it's just the fact that they get so many orders of the first wave, they peg warm and they think they're not selling. So there you go guys, a little bit of a rant at the end there, but a quick video review for the Power of the Primes Transformers Slug. And as I said, do recommend picking them up if you're a fan of the Dinobots. You want official Dinobots from Hasbro, this is the way to go. There is a lot of third-party Dinobots out there which are in different scales and larger scales, but if you want something that's kind of supposedly in scale with the rest of your Hasbro collection, then this is the one to pick up. And as I say in my videos, please feel free to like, comment and subscribe, and hopefully you enjoy this video. Cheers guys!